Buckingham Palace, its outside so familiar, its inside, for most of us, wrapped in mystery. Nowadays, of course, many thousands of visitors can see the state rooms and the gardens each summer. But few, if any, get this very special invitation. Each year, some 2,000 men and women come to Buckingham Palace to receive awards which have been announced in the Queen's birthday or New Year honours lists.
I think it was just meeting Prince Charles, really. And he was very friendly and very kind and asked me if I'd retired yet. Perhaps I've got a few more years left of me.
Well, I mean, it's such a, let's say, a wonderful occasion with you know, the palace itself.
Don't be shy, don't be shy.
So
Push through.
overwhelming, and I must say, though, it's extremely well organised, isn't it? I mean, and you're all told what's going to happen, and indeed it does happen, and it's big to make sure that, to make you feel at ease. You know, you do feel like at one stage, you think, well, is this the place you faint, or is it further on, you know? But it really is an extremely special day.
He gave the impression that he obviously was totally at ease and put the recipients totally at ease. Although it was a very formal occasion, it was very relaxed.
He seemed to know an awful lot about what I did and what I got the award for, so obviously did his homework well and was briefed very well.
A lot of apprehension in my part, thinking that you come into an unknown situation, and he's extremely relaxed when he talks to you, which made it much more memorable from my point of view.
Oh, it was really great. It was a lovely feeling to go in, especially getting from Prince Charles today. It was unexpected.
We have become familiar enough with scenes like this after investitures are over. But now Her Majesty the Queen has allowed cameras to go behind the scenes to show the careful arrangements and the investiture itself.
One big set of teeth, come on. See those teeth? Yeah, that's good. That's the idea.
8 o'clock in the morning, and London begins another working day. But for the 130 men and women who are anxiously making their way from all over the kingdom, it's the culmination of many weeks of preparation. It's the day of their investiture at Buckingham Palace. By 8:30, preparations at the palace are well underway. Everything from the state apartments to the ballroom, the scene of many great state occasions, where today's investiture will take place, are given detailed and careful attention.
Checking, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Throughout the year, the staff of the Central Chancery at St. James's Palace deal with all aspects of the honours system, with the help of records dating back literally hundreds of years. The Chancery also sends out the invitations, together with warrants signed by the Queen.
One KCBO?
Yep.
1449.
Correct.
2 Knights Bachelor?
Yes.
4 OBE Civil, gents?
Yes.
4 OBE Civil ladies? And 12 OBE Civil?
Correct.
Following the compilation of the Queen's birthday and New Year's honours lists, all the details are checked against records and then sent out to be published in the London Gazette.
Knights Bachelor to receive the honour of knighthood.
Sir Peter Large, Sir Michael Lickus.
Right. The Most Honourable Order of the Bath to be Companions Military Division.
Major General David Thompson.
Now I've got the Argyll and Southern Hounders. That must come out on the next copy, please.
When the various insignia arrive from the makers, each star, medal and ribbon is given a final check and then stored in the vaults of the Central Chancery of the Orders of Knighthood. At 10 a.m. precisely, the palace gates are open to the recipients and their families, whilst last-minute checks in the ballroom are made by the officer in charge of the proceedings, Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Mather.
Right, 1 KCVO badge and star, 3 Knights Bachelor, 1, 2, 3, 1 CB Civil, 1 CMG, and 2 CBE Military Division.
20 investitures are held at Buckingham Palace each year.
Good morning, sir. Many congratulations.
9 in the spring, 2 in July, and 9 more in the autumn.
CBE Civil Division, 2 ladies' brooches and 9 badges. 4, 8, and 1 is 9.
For most of those to be honoured, and for the guests who come with them, this occasion will be the first and only time in their lives when they'll be received by the Prince of Wales at Buckingham Palace.
It's a full house, as per the programme, 124 recipients with 358 guests. Could we keep 2 seats inside, please, for the press? We have 2 wheelchair recipients and 2 wheelchair guests.
Ladies, cloakrooms to the right, gentlemen's to the left, and then proceed up the grand staircase, please. Ladies, cloakrooms to the right, gentlemen's to the left, and then proceed up the grand staircase, please.
Each recipient will take away an impression of magnificent sights and sounds that will be long remembered. All will experience a unique sense of occasion that will be hard to match during their lifetimes. Part of that sense of occasion will be given by the Yeomen of the Guard, the Queen's oldest bodyguard, arriving here from St. James's Palace. Their long and faithful service to the Sovereign has been maintained for over 500 years. Investitures are stage-managed with almost military precision by military men. The timing of well-rehearsed events leading up to the investiture must be accurate almost to the second. At 11 a.m. precisely, it will begin. The Comptroller of the Lord Chamberlain's office, Lieutenant Colonel Malcolm Ross, skillfully calms the nerves with good humour and sound advice.
The first thing is the news that your investiture this morning is being held by the Prince of Wales. The other thing to tell you, it is absolutely straightforward and simple and nothing to worry about. If you relax, you'll enjoy it, and more importantly, you'll remember it. Nothing to worry about at all. You're now in the picture gallery, which is roughly in the middle of the state apartments of Buckingham Palace, and the investiture itself takes place in the ballroom which is at that end. So the first thing we've got to do is move you from here through to the ballroom, which we do in groups of 12 or 15 at a time, wiggling through a series of galleries and actually wiggling through the back of the ballroom itself, because it's from the far side of the ballroom, as seen from here, that you emerge as individuals to receive your insignia from the Prince of Wales. Right, here you are. You're now the head of the queue. The queue's behind you in a little cross gallery, and you're, as I say, at its head. Looking into the ballroom stretching left and right of you. To your half left, there's a shallow dais, and central, and obviously on the front of the dais, the Prince of Wales. To your right, seated and watching you, your guests, and standing beside you in this doorway, an official from the office who, for the last time, I promise you, will check your name. He will also, at the right moment, ask you to go forward into the ballroom. When you're asked to go forward into the ballroom, please walk along the red carpet as far as the gentleman usher and stop. As I am here, nice and close to him, still facing across the ballroom. Now, it's while you're in this position that the Lord Chamberlain will read out your name. Without labouring the point, would you please listen? Would you please listen for your surname? And when you hear your surname, would you walk along the carpet until you're nicely in the middle, stop, turn to face the Prince of Wales, and apologies to those who are now behind me. The ladies, a little curtsy, the gentleman, little court bow, head bow, and straight away move forward the 4 or 5 paces that separate you from the dais. Prince of Wales will already be holding the insignia that you're here to receive. While he is putting the insignia onto you, Prince of Wales will talk to you, and obviously you respond. He will then shake your hand, and the handshake is, I'm afraid, the indication your time is up. You then reverse those same 3 or 4 paces till you're nicely in the middle again, where for the second time you curtsy or bow. You turn to your right, and you go continuing across the ballroom, going out of the opposite door to that through which you entered. What happens to you then is you're routed round another little gallery where it's all taken off, put in its box, and handed back to you, quicker than I can say it, and you're routed yet further round till you reappear at the back of the ballroom and are ushered forward to take up the empty seats and watch those who are to follow. Any questions for me? Stunned silence. Ah, well done, ma'am, you've got it right. That's the question we'll do. How do you address the Prince of Wales? Well, I'm sure, all being experts in protocol, you would know that the first time you open your mouth, you should say, Your Royal Highness, and thereafter, Sir. Now, inevitably, your conversation this morning is going to be very short. Many tongues get twisted around Your Royal Highness, and he is very happy to be called Sir throughout. Play safe. I'll be back anyway during the Investiture, so if you have any last-minute worries, don't hesitate to ask me or anybody else who looks as though they know what's going on. It's all terribly easy. You all follow each other through. But if you are the first gentleman following a batch of ladies, there's an obvious catch. There we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, could I have your attention for a few moments? Is there anyone here who is a recipient rather than a guest? If you could make yourself known. Good. You've been in the wrong place. Although you've got a blue brochure, which is a recent innovation, which gives you an idea of the ceremony this morning, could I just enlarge on 1 or 2 aspects of it? You're in the ballroom of Buckingham Palace, the largest room in the palace, and it's used for a number of state occasions, diplomatic receptions, and for most of the investitures. Now, the first thing that happens is at about 10 to 11, a detachment from the Queen's bodyguard of the yeomen of the guard process in and take positions on the dais here. Shortly after 11 o'clock, His Royal Highness will enter from the door on your right, preceded and succeeded by members of the royal household. If, when the first one enters, you could stand up, His Royal Highness will then take his position on the dais with the other members of the household, and the national anthem will be played. Could you remain standing until His Royal Highness bids you to sit? The recipients will be forming up in the gallery on my right, your left, and one by one they will come forward and be announced by the Lord Chamberlain, together with the reason for their award. They will come before His Royal Highness, be presented with the award, will then leave from the door to your right and go round to take up the vacant seats behind you. The investiture will take over an hour. The national anthem will be played, the royal party will leave, and that will enable you to meet up with your recipient, relation or friend, and leave by the door from which you entered. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, good morning. If I could have your attention just for a couple of moments, I will...
The new knights are briefed in the green drawing room. A last chance to clear every hurdle.
Stop close to him and in front of him. Please listen for your surname. When you hear your surname, continue to walk across the ballroom till you're nicely in the middle, level with the Prince of Wales. Bow, walk forward, stop behind the stool. 1, 2, 3 down. Tap, tap, up and around to the left. All of you are receiving a neck decoration. Please help His Royal Highness by just slightly inclining your head that it goes over your neck, complete. And while the Prince of Wales is attaching the insignia to you, he'll be talking to you, and obviously you respond. He will then shake your hand. The handshake is, I'm afraid, the indication that your time is up. You reverse those same 4 or 5 paces to that central position, where for the second time you bow, you turn to your right, and you go out of the ballroom on the other side through the corresponding door to that through which you entered.
The scene is set. The briefings are over. The investiture is about to begin. It is 11 o'clock, precisely.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
The Royal Victorian Order to receive the honour of knighthood and to be a Knight Commander, Sir David Landale.
It must be the dream of many to meet the Prince in this way, and there is no doubt that the Prince enjoys meeting them.
Mr. George Carter for services to accountancy and to the community in the West Midlands.
At investitures like this, he can speak, however briefly, to exceptional people from all walks of life.
Peter Edis.
That's right, Edis,
Yes,
actually, yes.
Edis.
Yes.
Very good. The pronunciation is close, but not quite there.
Where do we set out?
Yes, when you'll go round, and then gentleman ushers will indicate where to fill in. Then you can criticise everyone who comes after you, see? You'll be relaxed then.
Mr. Christopher Bees.
Last anxious moments for those waiting in the wings, but help is on hand.
Mrs. Pamela Fletcher-Jones. Mrs. Dorothy King. Mr. Brian Carter.
Sir Winston Churchill once said, "The object in presenting medals, stars and ribbons is to give pride and pleasure to those who deserve them."
Finally, for the time being, Mr. Michael Davenport. Thank you very much. Follow on, please.
It's a lovely big room, isn't it? Yes. Queen Victoria had it added on to the palace. Originally, when it was painted, it was all a riot of colour. And purples, orange, brown and everything, but Edward VII went for this cream and gold. Stayed like that ever since. Right forwards now, Johnny go.
Now we'll put it in a box and you must find many occasions to wear it. And if you'd like to then go straight on through, and the pipe major will show you where to go next.
The Most Honourable Order of the Bath, to be a companion, Civil Division, Mr. Christopher Davy, for services to the Ministry of Defence.
Most Excellent Order of the British Empire to be Commanders, Civil Division. The Imperial Service Order to be Companions. The Royal Red Cross. The Queen's Gallantry Medal to be decorated. Mr. Paul Sabapathy for services to the Birmingham Heartlands Urban Development Corporation.
I think one of the most important aspects of an investiture is to be able to reward in a suitable way the selfless service and dedication of so many of these remarkable people. People who've dedicated their lives in all sorts of sort of unseen areas. And you hear so much gloom and misery and criticism and disaster all the time in the media. But actually, there are so many marvelous people who keep this whole nation going and functioning. And it just is a remarkable example of what wonderful things are done in this country by so many people. I'm aware, only too aware, that for the vast majority of people who come to investigate, it is a very important moment in their lives when they're being given an honour and a reward and a thank you for all the marvellous things they've done. The great thing, I believe anyway, is to try and have a word with each one and try to make them feel special and ask them what they're doing a little bit and congratulate them. I find it enormously encouraging and in many ways moving. You see suddenly before you, the entire nation really represented by different people from endless different walks of life.
Each investiture ceremony lasts a little over an hour and brings together not only those whose efforts may be well known to us all, but also many whose achievements we may not have heard of until brought to the fore by the investiture ceremonies. As today's investiture comes to an end, there can be no doubt that the day will have given lasting pride and pleasure to all.
It's been wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
I'd love to come back again and do it tomorrow, but I don't think they're going to invite us, unfortunately.
I mean, it's something, I'm 74, and never in my life have I been able to experience anything like it, to come up to it.
I think that even the very important people who are here today, they feel exactly the same way that I do. It's something that we have and nobody else has in the world, I'm sorry about this.